Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks unboxing video of the OnePlus Nord N100. This is the most affordable of the new OnePlus Nord smartphones currently available, and I purchased mine directly from OnePlus on their website for £179 sterling. What I'm doing now is taking the plastic wrapper off so that there's less reflection, and we can have a bit of a closer look at the packaging. This is, at first sight, something that reminds you of the OnePlus Nord packaging that we saw in the previous unboxing we did of the original OnePlus Nord. But that looks seems to stop there. It does feel a bit more papery, a bit lighter. It's definitely not up to the same standard. Now obviously there's the N100 logos or writing on the front. There's an embossed OnePlus logo. On the side it will say, in that same embossed mode, OnePlus Nord N100. And that's pretty much it. There's a sticker on the back with all the details. This is the device I purchased in the UK. So let's see what the packaging has inside it. So this is OnePlus, obviously. It says OnePlus embossed on the card here. And inside that card, small box, we have safety information, quick start guide, and the highest SAR value. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. Not only will you get the unboxing of this device, but if you subscribe and mash that bell button, you'll be notified of when we do our setup video of the OnePlus Nord N100. So I've just taken the device itself out of the box. I'll put that down for now, and let's have a look at what other details come in the box. What other accessories come in the box. So there's a OnePlus charger. This is a UK plug. I purchased this device in the UK. And it's a OnePlus power supply unit, which in this case outputs at 18 watts. So it's 9 volts, 2 amp. So this is not OnePlus's warp charging. This is standard 18 watt charging, which is output from a standard USB-A port to USB Type-C. And we have something which OnePlus is quite well known for, is the red USB cables. So you see USB-A on one side, USB Type-C, and that's 18 watts. So not the fastest charger we've seen, but probably one of the fastest in this category of device. We recently unboxed the Nokia 3.4 here in the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. Sadly, that only had a 10 watts charger, so nothing to shout out about. And on the side of the card, we have a OnePlus SIM ejector tool, which is quite nice. It's different from the usual ones we see. I'll put this aside because we'll be using that soon in our follow-up video, which is the software setup and hardware setup of the OnePlus Nord N100. Okay then, so I'll put the charger to one side and the packaging to one side. I'm sure all this literature will go unread in the bottom of the box somewhere, but let's look at the device itself. So it comes wrapped in what is essentially a plastic sleeve. This comes off pretty easily. I'll take off the extra sticker on the back, and we can have a look at what the hardware has to offer. So this is the OnePlus Nord N100. It's an affordable device priced at £179 here in the UK. And first impressions are very, very positive. For a device in this price category, this feels very premium. And the screen feels large, but we'll see how it performs in terms of its bezels and so forth. But the back feels plasticky. It's a plastic one, but it gives you that impression of the sort of matte glass finish that more premium smartphones have. And as you can see here on the back, you've got the OnePlus logo. OnePlus brand at the bottom, a bit of small print there about where it's made and OnePlus Technology Shenzhen. There is a fingerprint scanner placed on the back of the device. I personally really like this. It's accessible, it's easy to use, and we'll see how it performs in actual use in our full review, but fingerprint scanner on the back for me is a very big plus. This is a great feature, and I wish more smartphones had that and maintained that, rather than moving towards side or screen embedded ones, because it's much more usable in my view. On the back we also see a nice camera module. That's 3 camera modules. The main sensor is a 13 megapixel one. There is also a 2 megapixel dedicated macro lens. We'll need to put that through its paces, but I'm not a big fan of dedicated macro lenses in most cases. And there's also a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which in this category of device is a decent setup. We're talking under £200 sterling, well under 250 US dollars. There's a lot of smartphone here. And on the inside, behind this nice matte finish glassy back, which is actually plastic, there's a 5000 milliamp hour battery. So that promises to be very, very good in terms of battery life. So let's look at the left-hand side of the device. There's a volume rocker, that's great. And there's also the SIM tray. I'm going to use that OnePlus SIM ejector tool, and let's have a look at what's in here. So this is a SIM tray where you have the option, it's a hybrid SIM tray, where you have the option of 1 nano SIM and a memory card, or 2 nano SIMs. There's no space for an extra SIM card when you have expandable memory. So 1 SIM and memory card, or 2 nano SIMs. But that shouldn't be an issue for most people, because the storage on this device is quite generous. It's 64 gigabytes for the only model that's available of the OnePlus Nord N100. So volume rocker and SIM tray at one side. On the other there's the power button. So power button on the right, volume rocker on the other. That means that it's very similar to the iPhone in that respect. Now on the underside, on the bottom, there is the USB Type-C port, which is used for data transfer if you're connecting to your PC, and more importantly that 18 watts relatively fast charging that isn't warp charge, but it's relatively fast. The bottom fire speaker, a microphone, and key feature that I think is great, especially in this price range, it is that 3.5mm audio jack. Here at Tech Travel Geeks, we call that 3.5mm audio jack the Courage port, and it's good to see OnePlus including that in the OnePlus Nord N100. And on the top side of the device, there's just one microphone hole. Looking at the screen without turning it on, you can see it's a nice flat screen with slightly rounded edges. It's not a curved screen, you wouldn't expect that in this price range. And I'm going to briefly turn it on to see what that looks like. This is 6.52 inch diagonal screen. That screen is a 720 or an HD plus one, which means it has 720 pixels in its width at the bottom by 1600 pixels in the length. That means that this is a 20:9 aspect ratio screen, which means essentially that's 20:9, that's the ratio. And this is an LCD screen, it's not an OLED screen like the one we saw on the original OnePlus Nord. The original OnePlus Nord is pretty much double the price of the OnePlus Nord N100, and it can offer some more niceties like that and 5G. The OnePlus Nord N100 makes some trade-offs. There is in this case just 4G, and as you can see, that LCD screen is perfectly bright and legible, and there's not much in terms of bezels. Obviously, we've seen devices with much smaller bezels, but this is pretty decent. And at the top left-hand side of the screen here, you can see that there is a selfie camera dotch, or a selfie camera cutout. That selfie camera cutout has an 8 megapixel camera, which is allegedly capable of recording full high-definition video, 1080 video, at 30 frames per second. So this might be decent enough for example, vlogging, if that's what you plan on doing. So that was a quick overview of the hardware of the OnePlus Nord N100. Obviously, it's not all about the hardware, it's not all about the specs, but my first impressions of the hardware are positive. For the price, you're getting what feels like a premium smartphone. You're getting pretty good value for money in terms of specs, but it's all about that combination of software and hardware and how well they're tuned and how well the manufacturer sets expectations about what this device is. Now, we're going to be following up this video of the unboxing of the OnePlus Nord N100 with a setup video, where we go through the overall setup experience and how our first impressions are of the OnePlus Nord's operating system. In this case, it's Oxygen OS. But be sure to be subscribed to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube, and we will bring you that video very soon. For now, thanks for watching, and goodbye.